I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. Thank God it's Wednesday. Today I want to speak on the subject of living a life of significance. Living a life of significance. I will take my bearing from Matthew chapter 5 verse 13. But before I do that, I want to thank those parents in Okwokoko, Osubi, Agbaro, and surrounding communities who have sent their children to our new school. Our new school at Prophet Idowu Street. Prophet Idowu Street, you can access it from Poultry Junction. If you drive Ejere Street to the end, you turn right as if you are going towards your Okwokoko market. Prophet Idowu Street is on the left. You will see a signpost there. Petra Christian Academy, Prophet Idowu Street. A very beautiful place, very conducive for learning, and we have qualified teachers and very well-behaved members of staff. A very neat environment. So send your children to us to train and to mold to be people of excellence. I've been in this school business for up to 30 years. So I have experience in it. This is the third school I am opening. The first school I opened at Aba for the Church of God Mission. After 20 years, it was one of the 50 best schools in terms of school certificate, the Living School Certificate examination, West African School examination for the senior secondary. It was one of the 50 best in the whole country. And we have a school at Otowodo, Petra Christian Academy, Ekrejobo Street off Udwere Street, Otowodo, Ugeli, behind Agofure Motors at Agbara Junction. We have a wonderful school there, and we've made wonderful grades. The last school certificate examinations, the least grade my students had was B. Most of them made A's, and the least was B, not even credit. Same with our junior secondary school examination results. There was no receipt, no failure, and same with our primary school living certificate. Our motto is righteousness and excellence. We have proven ourselves to be the best. That's why our children will say, we are the best. Send your children to us and you will not regret doing that. Number 2, I want to introduce my YouTube channel. You will see a lot of videos and messages in my YouTube channel. So subscribe. Dr. Charles Apoki. Subscribe to it. Anytime my videos come up, you can listen to them and gain something. Then we have an e-book shop, petrapublications.com, or you go to amazon.com and you can download our books and buy them there. And so we are looking at Matthew chapter 5 verse 13. It says that you are the salt of the earth, that if salt loses its saltiness, that of what use is it, that it will be thrown away and trampled upon. And I have been studying salt, the salt of the earth, and I've been wondering if salt expires. I've had salt stay in my house for months, just like honey. It does not expire. Until I went back far into history and I found out that the salt we use today is refined salt. In those days, salt was not refined. If you have been to Salt Pond in Ghana, you can pack salt from the beach. If you containerize the water somewhere, evaporation will leave salt behind and you can just pack salt. And then you had salt from rocks, rock salt. And so, what happens to salt that makes it lose its saltiness? Number 1, when such salt in those days remained in a container, it will absorb moisture from the environment. And the moisture will form a solution. And when the solution evaporates, it will leave with the sodium chloride. If you go to Salt Pond in Ghana and you go to Port Elizabeth in South Africa, I've been there, you will see that the roofing sheets that are made of iron, corrugated iron roofing sheets, they are rusty. Any metallic material by the beach is rusty. It is because as the water is evaporating, it is carrying sodium chloride along with it. And then in those days, the impurity, gypsum, will be left behind. And if it is a large quantity, that gypsum is thrown on the road and it solidifies and people trample upon it. That's why that biblical passage, that was how I came to understand it. So salt can loosen its saltiness. A human being can also loosen its saltiness by over dilution, by too many impurities, and by too many contaminants. But we're going to dwell on that later. Living a life of significance. One of the benefits I had of attending a good school is learning how to handle a subject matter. And it is by defining key words. And it is only what is defined that can be refined. So living a life of significance. We are first going to look at the word living. What is the meaning of living? It is different from existence. It is different from bios. It means Zoe. Living is when people thank God because of you. When people thank God because of you. When your positive impact remains and develops and replicates in the lives of those who thank God because of you. Or replicates in the lives of those who thank God because of you. It can develop and replicate. It can develop or replicate. Some people say I always use the word I. What do you want me to use? You want me to talk about Elijah? You want me to talk about Elisha? You want me to talk about Moses? No. I've had an experience with the Holy Spirit. I've had an experience with Jesus Christ. And just like Luke, the physician, said, he said, "O Theophilus, others have written about their experiences. I too have decided to write." Being a witness is somebody who has experienced an event and is able to narrate and elucidate what he has experienced or seen, tasted, handled. I don't preach theology. I preach what I have handled, what I have seen. And so, one day, my friend came for my daughter's marriage, and we had to see him off to the airport. We were in the airport, in the restaurant with Barrister Okea, Raymond Orogu Ugbe, Henry Komi, and my friend who sponsors this program. And we ordered for food while waiting for his flight. And as I spoke up, one of the waiters said, "Are you Dr. Charles Apoki?" I said, "Yes." "Oh," he said, "that your messages on Wednesday have influenced my life so positively." And then I said, "See the man who pays for the program." And then he went to meet my friend. He started narrating how the program had changed his life and all that and all that. That is living. I am living in the life of that man. My dear friend, that is at Candy Petrol Station on your way out of Ugeli, close to where Ogigba used to have sawmill. It's another of my dear friends that has appreciated what my life is contributing to his life so much. I want to thank him and I want to say God bless you. But at the same time, whatever one is doing, it's also annoying people. People hate me, I know that. People hate me. Oh, they don't like me. But I really don't care. Somebody was narrating an incident that happened in a printing press. And a young man said that if I have a gun, I will shoot that man, Dr. Apoki, that preaches on Wednesday. I will shoot him. And one of my daughters was there, a huge lady, held his shirt and slapped him. Said, "Do you know you're talking about my father?" Slapped the stupid human being. If your brain is not correct, you will react negatively to positive impact. I didn't come to life to impress stupid people. I came only for reasonable people. And if it irritates you, God saved him, I wasn't there. or some other of my boys were not there, he would have regretted uttering such rubbish from his mouth. So, it is having positive impact that remains. I ask you, the average individual, if you die and you pass away, will your impact still remain? We are drinking Lipton tea. It is somebody that started it. You have Mercedes, it's somebody's name. You talk about Socrates, it's a philosopher. You talk about Engels, it's a philosopher. You talk of Lenin, you talk of Karl Marx, you talk of Max Weber, you talk about several other people that have lived. We are still quoting them using their theoretical frameworks for research. You talk about McGregor theory X, McGregor theory Y. We are quoting them. We talk about throwing in the bridge in management. These are people came up, talk about Parkinson's law, first law, second law, third law. These are individuals who, even though they have departed, their impact is still being felt. So, bios is when you celebrate the same things that animals celebrate. I built a house. Animals build houses. I bought a car. Birds fly. Animals travel long distances. You had children. Animals have children. Pigs have children. You bought new. You wore fine dress. Some birds are better dressed than you. So what are you celebrating? What you must celebrate is the positive impact. I saw a child in one of my schools. He is the grandchild of or great-grandchild of Salubi, Chief T.E.A. Salubi. When I saw the child, I was so excited. The contribution Salubi made towards education in Urobo land, his contribution towards emancipation of the Urobo people. I remember in those days in Urodo when his Volkswagen Beetle will be coming. That's legacy. It's legacy. That's living. He's still living. So it is different from bios, as I said, which is breathing in and breathing out and celebrating what animals celebrate. One day, I was driving from Warri and I had missionaries pasted on my windshield. And a road safety man, he's retired now, Mr. Dio. I met his elder brother recently at Port Harcourt. Missionary was pasted on my windscreen. And Mr. Dio stopped me. Officer Dio stopped me. He said, "Park." And I parked. I was wondering what I had done wrong to this road safety man or what offense he had seen because my seat belt was on, my particulars were come. He said, "Park, sir." I said, "Sir, what can I do for you?" He said, "Are you a missionary?" I said, "Yes, sir. Is there any offense being missionary?" He said, "No." He said, "We were the last set of missionaries that were to have been killed in a Keremo, and Mary Slessor, because of Mary Slessor, we were not killed. So anytime I see a missionary, I'm eternally grateful because it was because of Mary Slessor and missionaries that I am alive." So Mary Slessor had died, but Mary Slessor is still living in the life of Officer Dio. He has retired now. So when you live in the lives of people, when what you have contributed to their lives, the meaning you have made, then you are living. Living is being an extension of God's hand, like Sister Theresa Mary of Calcutta in India, or Saint Theresa Mary. The Catholic Church has made her a saint. She was in Calcutta in India. She's not an Indian, or she wasn't an Indian, but she took care of sick people, took care of homeless people, and she won the Nobel Peace Prize. When she died in India, the Indians gave her a burial that was only given to President Nehru, their founding president. The point is, don't live only for yourself. Don't live only for the clothes you will wear. Don't live only for the houses you will build. Don't live for only the amount of money you have. Of what influence, what impact. I always remember Mr. Apio. I don't know if he's from Oginibo or he's from Egbo Uhurie. He was a Baptist Deacon Apio. He was the one who carried me with his white superb bicycle to inside Okere to go and meet my father. He told my father, "Your son said he wants to become a medical doctor. Please ensure that you train him to become a medical doctor, even if it involves selling yourself." And I became a medical doctor. So I remain eternally grateful to Deacon Apio. He was a deacon in the Baptist church when Reverend Orikri was a pastor there. So that thing he did in my life, I will never forget it. Another example I want to make is Pa Elton that lived in Elisha. He could rightly be said to be the father of Pentecostalism one way or the other in Nigeria, because he mentored people like Archbishop Benson Idahosa, Barrister Emeka Wankpa, John Marshall Okposio, and several others. Ironically or coincidentally, it was Reverend John Marshall Okposio that preached the day I got born again with my wife at the Living Word Training Center at Aba. So that is living. If your life is not making impact on people that will endure or pass from one generation to the other, you are not living. What is life, therefore? Life is the investment of the nature of God in you. And he breathed unto Adam, and Adam became a living being. It is the expression of the nature of God in you. It is the reflection, exudation, emission, and transmission, the inductive presence of God in you that people can feel. It is retailing God to people. That is life. Life. What the nature of God in you that can come out is life. Let me join these two things together, living and life, by one story that happened at Aba. There was a guest preacher that came and said, "Ndị di ya nwụrụ anwụ pụta n'ezi. Ndị di ya nwụrụ anwụ pụta n'ezi. Ọ shara enwedi wure riotafe. If your husband is dead, please come outside." And some women came outside. One woman whose husband was in the church also came out. And the guest speaker said, "Ihe anyị na-ekwu bụ ọ bụ di gị nọ ndụ nọ n'ime church, but ọ bụ di gị nwụchago pụọ n'ezi." That is to say, ọ shara enwe ndị akpọ kidevuri church. Ọ shara enwe ndị wure gbarotafe. If your husband is dead, come outside. But if your husband is alive, sit down. This woman came out. And the guest speaker knows the husband of the woman, and the husband of the woman was in the church. And the guest speaker said, pointed to the husband, "Madam, Oya Obu Digi, is this one not your husband?" The woman said, "I'm marrying him name me." Oya Obu Digi. Then she got angry and waved her hand at the man and said, "Lekonya Odindu, Odindu, onana jakpo. This one's still alive." Waving her hand to her husband that is breathing. Ojagari akpo. Uya. Waving her hand at her husband with disdain. This one they alive. This one they alive. So the husband was breathing in and breathing out. As far as the woman was concerned, the man don't delete, he don't pay me, he don't go. Overall glory. What do you say? Oh yeah, this one they alive. So that is the meaning of living and life, with a very simple story and a joke. Truly it happened. The next thing I want to define, because the subject matter is living a life of significance. What is significance? We can share the word into two. You will see sign in the beginning, then efficance at the end. So what is significance? Significance is when an action or a thing creates a noticeable result. Which deviates from that expected to arise simply from random variation or errors in sampling. That is to say, something can't happen. It can't produce result when person notice. When not be mistake na cause am, or na tubu jankalaba in alaba 2 na cause am. The thing they bam. It can't create something when person notice, when show sign. It also means something that invariably determines an outcome. Something that determines an outcome. Now, because this thing happened, now make this kind of thing can't happen. That thing when happen, when make another thing can't happen, now it is significant. Every other thing when happen, when no make the thing change, you know they significant. I give you an example. Remember, we started with salt. When you put salt inside soup, when no get salt before, immediately salt enter, you go notice say salt don't enter. But you see, One of the reasons why they say if them put food for ground, not they add salt, is that before salt go take increase again, reach wetin you go take notice am. If you put 100 grams of salt for the food or milligrams for the soup, before you go notice change of the salt for your tongue, you go add another 30 milligrams. So you will increase it by 30%. You go increase them by 1/3. And as you dey add salt to get taste, your blood pressure dey go up. Now make them talk say, as dem give you food, even if salt no catch am, just eat am like that. Because before you go taste the food, say salt don catch am, you don increase am by 1/3, and e no good for your health. So before there can be significant increase in the taste, in saltiness, there has to be a 30% increase. So now let me quickly look at the life of significance. In Genesis chapter 28, 10 to 22, you will notice that when Jacob was in the house of Laban, Laban went to consult oracle. And as he consulted oracle, by divination, the oracle told him that your life is improving because of Jacob in your house. Una no understand me, make I speak am for Orobo. Laban, ora beva, eva na ko vuere, ne foki Jacob on the rakpon wen win. That is to say, he go consult juju. Juju con dey say, now because Jacob dey your house, now make your house, everything for your house con dey improve. Can you imagine that? All this na yeah prayer. Any person carry my name to juju, you know how many people don't carry my name to juju? People when they listen to me here now, you know how many people they swear for me every day. You get many people when they swear for me, no they catch me. Juju confirm say Jacob life dey significant. Let me ask you one simple question. The husband you dey marry, your life don't make in life dey significant. The wife you dey marry, has your life don't make in life better or making family life better? Let me ask you another question. Where you dey work so since they employ you, your life don't make the business for that place improve? If your life is significant, make I ask you one question. All this one you dey run follow politician, kitty kata kata, kitty kata kata. It don't improve your life? Make I ask you one question. How many years some political parties don't they rule for some states? Don't they rule for this country? Our life don't improve. It don't show difference. Make I ask you another question. If Juju fit confirm say na person life na im make another person life improve, why you dey tell me say Juju na im dey worry you, na im make you no dey fit progress? This one na Juju con dey confirm say person life. Dr. Apoki, the way you dey read this your Bible, whether you dey turn upside down, I don't know. But not truth. Genesis chapter 31, from 1 verse 1 down. I'm your friend Dr. Charles Apoki. If you have not subscribed to this channel, you are not really my friend. Subscribe to this channel. We are close to the 100,000 mark. We only need 10,000 subscriptions. So share these videos that I do. Subscribe to the channel at Dr. Charles Apoki. On the 2nd and on the 3rd, 6 p.m. Nigerian time, on the 2nd and on the 3rd of August, we'll have a paid webinar on how to become a global citizen, globalization, purposeful living, and financial independence. I remain Dr. Charles Apoki. Send a message to +234 7052136763. God bless you. The Bible says that Potiphar realized that even the who go for him farm can improve when Joseph enter. That should be your prayer. That God, anywhere I enter, let me create the difference. The principle I've always had. Any person I meet, let me leave him better than I met him. Any place I reach, let me leave that place better than I got to that place. There is no place I have been to that I have not left a mark better than when I got them. There is no idea you have brought to me that I have not added another idea better than, oh, you need to reach our school at Okokoko. It used to be my mother-in-law's cassava farm. My in-laws came there and prayed and prayed and blessed the place. Because my wife and I transformed that place. Transformed that place. I became an in-law there, transformed that place. That is what living a life of significance is supposed to be. Now, I want to look at an individual that lived a life of significance. Living a life of significance does not need to go over a long period of time. Only one incident. Let me quickly tell you that I was supposed to give this lecture with His Excellency Peter Obi, the presidential aspirant under the Labour Party. Two of us were to speak. Fortunately or unfortunately, he could not make the trip, the lecture, because he had traveled so far and wide around America, Canada, I think Germany and France. Then he stopped at Vienna to greet Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala to see how the World Trade Organization could liaise with Nigeria if he wins the presidency. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is a mature woman, I think older than him, saw that Obi was tired. Obi was tired from the interviews. I saw the one he did with Fashehun, one girl, and he was obviously tired. The woman seized his passport, seized his phones, and said, "Peter Obi, you are not going anywhere. You must sleep and rest before you go back to Nigeria." So they were waiting for him at a Kulobia where Cardinal Okpaleke was being celebrated, reception. He was in Rome for that celebration, and he was to leave Ekulobia to Orchid Hotel in Asaba. One way or the other, he sent a powerful delegation of about 7 former commissioners led by Professor Chinyere Okunna, former commissioner for budgeting and economic planning, and a foremost professor of mass communication. Una won't say Dr. Apoki won't proud again. No be proud, na truth I just dey talk. When I organized the environment and gave my lecture, even the professor know say I dey kampe. It's so exciting that a man can live Ugeli, live Otowodo, live Roboland, and function effectively in the international arena where a professor and so many learned people are seated. That is why when my children, when I finish speaking to them, I will tell them, I will see you in New York. I will see you in San Francisco. I will see you in Sydney. You can live Ugeli and function in the global arena. You can function in any stage. It's part of living the life of significance. Don't settle for rubbish. As a young boy, don't settle for all these dirty boyfriends and girlfriends in your locality. Don't smoke Indian hemp in uncompleted building. You are a very stupid boy if Colorado is your life. Colorado, conk, loud. You're so stupid. Nobody will invite you to the environment where I went to now to speak because of Colorado, because of Rofinol, because of cocaine, because of amphetamine, because of ice. Ice. There's one other one I've forgotten. Ice. Our children are destroying their brains. Destroying their brains. No person will recognize you. When I finished speaking, the professor said that I had said everything. What is it? Significance. When an action changes the course of history. And I want to give you a little bit of history. There's a woman called Rosa Parks. She was born in America in February 4th, 1913. She died October 24th, 2005. I watched her burial in Lafto in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia on satellite. She was the first woman, black person, who was laid in state in the rotunda of the Capitol Hill where the Senate and House of Representative chambers are located in America. On December 1st, 1955, in Montgomery, James Blake, a bus driver, ordered a seamstress, Rosa Parks, to vacate her seat in the colored section in favor of a white man that came late. Let me explain to you. In those days in America, buses were segregated. The white people sat in the front seat. Then there was a section reserved for black people, and they will put a barrier. No matter how punctual the black man is, you dare not sit in the front seat. Let me also tell you one thing. If you wanted to enter a bus in America in those days, you will buy your ticket, then from the front, you will come down and go round and enter through the back door and sit at the back seat. And here was Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks entered and sat at the colored people's section at the back. But a white man came late and they told her to leave her seat and go back. She refused. She said she was not going back, that she was tired of being oppressed. One of the things I found out with Nigerians and Nigerian youths is that we are not tired of these men who oppress us, tired of these old men of my generation who steal our money to intimidate us. We still dance for them, particularly you women leaders of political parties. Your children are at home. Their children are graduating from overseas. Mumu, you will still carry banner, go to Asaba and dance for them. Go to Abuja and dance for them because of 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira. You don't have common sense. Young man, you will still carry banner for one politician whose children are graduating from overseas. There was Governor Mahi of Ebonyi State that said university education is not for every person. That same week, I saw his child graduating from a foreign university. Why are our people so wicked? Why are our people so foolish? When will you get tired of party politics, of running after politicians who rape your economy? Your father and your mother have labored, they are not being paid pension, but a politician will receive pension immediately he leaves office. If he was a senator, he will receive pension. If he was a minister, he will receive pension. But your father, your mother, they will now throw tear gas at them. Oh, Nigerians, una mumu too much. Too much. You still carry old stupid men and their posters dancing. People who put us in the situation we are in. It's shameful. So that day Rosa Parks said, enough is enough. I have been going back for people. But today, I'm not going to go back. There is a time you stand your ground and you say enough is enough if you must live a life of significance. When she did that, she was arrested. She was 42 years old. They asked her whether was she tired, that was why she didn't move back. She said no, that she was tired of the oppression, tired of the humiliation in her own country. And then black people decided to boycott buses. And that attracted one man called Edgar Nixon, not Richard Nixon, Edgar Nixon, and Martin Luther King Jr., the pastor. This subsequently led to several protests and court cases, and in 1956, a court victory abolished segregation in buses. That singular act by Rosa Parks that said, enough is enough, I am not going to move, was what led to that victory that stopped segregation in buses. Let me dwell on this story in details so that you might understand. However, Rosa Parks, because of that singular act, became a member of the House of Representatives in the United States. She won several awards, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She won the Congressional Gold Medal, and in 2005, she was the first woman to lie in honor in the Capitol Rotunda. Martin Luther King Jr. subsequently became a human rights activist and human rights movement, and a day has been declared for Martin Luther King Day holiday. Rosa Parks has several days declared as holidays for her in several states in the United States. We cannot divorce the emergence of Barack Obama as president of the United States from the actions of Rosa Parks. The question I want to ask, you will just live and just pass away? You will just die and pass away? I saw one man that suffered and suffered and suffered. He died. The children and the relatives came, put canopies, were drinking 4 Cousins wine and several other wines. I know this man, he suffered a lot. They blocked the street because of him. What tangible effect? What tangible effect? What mark will you make in life? You had children, you had sex, you drank, you smoked, you bought cars. What tangible effects will you leave behind when you depart from this world? However, this story did not start that day. It started in 1943, 12 years back. A black woman paid for her bus ticket, and the rule was that after paying in the front seat, you had to go back to enter. That day, this black woman, Rosa Parks, 30 years old as at that time, paid for her ticket. It was raining during winter, cold. She wanted to pass through the front aisle to go and sit at the back. James Blake said that she should get down from the bus to go and pass around. And as she came down, James Blake drove and left Rosa Parks. She was 30 years old then. We don't know if there was any refund for her ticket. That 30-year-old black woman held that pain in her heart for 12 years. 12 years before 1955. There are some of you come from families where there has been insult, there has been poverty, there has been lack, there has been deprivation, there has been backwardness. They pain you. They pain you say this kind of life you live, you're not supposed to continue. They pain you say you go supposed to change your family history. Some of you who are contesting for politics now, does it not grieve your spirit that we are such a backward nation? We are the poverty capital of the world. Does it not grieve you that our policemen buy their shoes? Some of our policemen sleep inside vehicles in police barracks. Does it not grieve you that our policemen have no insurance policy? The man dies, he's dead. Does it not grieve you that you are buying diesel at 700 naira, 800 naira? Does it not grieve you that our children will finish universities, no work? I want to talk to our northern brethren. You are talking about religion, Muslim, Islam. Does it not grieve you in the north that you can't enter your farmlands? I saw in one community today, in the north, they bought canoe and are going to give money to bandits as a ransom so that they can access their farms. You native Hausa man, Biro man, Nupe man, from Bachama man, from northern Nigeria. Somebody from another country calling himself a Fulani bandit or whatever bandit will come and drive you from your land, and you start paying money for him. Does it not pain you, for those of you from the north, that they named the 3 poorest states? Buhari state was one of the poorest states. Sokoto state was one of the poorest states. And one other state. Does it not grieve you? The time has come for Nigerians to stand up and elect people who can change this country, who have the interest of this country. Does it not grieve you? That year, in 1955, there was a pain in the heart of Rosa Parks. A man called Emmett Till, a young man, was accused of flirting around a white girl. Then, as a black man, you couldn't play near a white girl. And they stoned him to death and killed him. And they freed the people who killed him. And Rosa Parks was angry. The people ask me, why do I do the things I do? Does it not grieve your spirit that you can't have regular electricity? I run private schools. I didn't go to private school. I went to government schools. Where will the children of the poor have access to good education? How can you, when one nurse does 2 duties, go to the general hospital, you will see one nurse doing 2 duties. Go to the general hospital, you will see generators in nearly every of the ward. Sometimes before you go and buy diesel, somebody can die. Look at the roads around the towns you live in. Look at the roads. Look at the roads around the towns you live in Delta State, in Edo State. The youths had to block the express road in Benin, Federal Road, before they went and did something about it. University students had to go and block the road to the airport. Are you not tired? Does somebody not get angry? Fela said suffering and smiling. And so, Rosa Parks was angry. I still remember an incident that happened. She was going to somewhere with the younger brother, and a white boy was threatening the younger brother. And she picked a brick and showed it to the white boy, and the white boy ran. She could also see white children travel to school in buses while she went to school on foot. Can you not see the disparity between the rich and the poor? They chase you and you elect them into office. They chase you out of the road with sirens. And it's the children of the poor who are policemen, who are DSS, that will use wood to crack somebody's windscreen. Oh boy, sometimes my blood boils. You see, one day, the black woman got angry and said, enough. is enough. That was how Rosa Parks was thinking when she entered the bus, because she had made up her mind that she would never enter James Blake's bus. But her mind was so filled with the pain and decay in Montgomery at that time that she entered that bus without knowing it was James Blake. And that singular action she did saved her fellow black people. Now, I want to look at some key issues for you to live a significant life. Number one, she passionately hated the injustice and status quo. For you to live a significant life, you must passionately hate the status. People say, how do you manage to work with Dr. Apoki? Somebody called me. I applied to your school in Agbaro. I have not heard from you. I said, I don't have a school in Agbaro. I have a school in Okwokoko. It's Agbaro and Okwokoko. They're the same thing. How can you work for me? How can you work in my school when Agbaro and Okwokoko are the same thing to you? Agbaro is in Ughelli North. Okwokoko is in Okpe local government area. You cannot work for me. Why? You cannot work in my place. They say I'm too intolerant. I'm too harsh. No, I cannot continue with the status quo. I cannot continue with the stupidity. I cannot continue with helping people to do exams. Who cannot? We interviewed. How many people did we interview in Okwokoko to get teachers? Graduates. They couldn't solve simple mathematical problems. We couldn't get people. One of them came. He could not write an application. He could not write, and he came without a belt, and I drove him away from my office. You say I have hot temper. I'm angry. This nation cannot continue like this. Doctors who don't know their right from their left, doctors who want to give a prescription, you will write a whole page, write so many lab tests. No, if you know what you are doing, you go for the specifics. We cannot continue like this. So she passionately hated the injustice and hated the status quo. She thought beyond herself. She was not thinking of only herself. She was thinking of the injustice that was meted out to Emmett Till. And James Blake was the trigger to her response. I saw somebody hold a gun when the policeman seized his phone. I don't encourage you to do that. But sometimes Nigerians are being pushed to the wall. Pushed to the wall. And if care is not taken, she was pushed to the wall. Now, point number 3. 3 other black passengers initially protested on the same row, but moved because they had tolerated injustice to a point of celebrating it. Oh, Nigerians, we can tolerate. We can tolerate a lot of oppression, suffering and smiling. The same idiots and criminals that oppress us, they are the ones that sit in the front row of our churches. They are the ones we wait to before we start Thanksgiving service. They are the ones that read first lessons and last lessons. What is it? We are suffering from what is called Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is when you fall in love with your rapist. Rosa Parks, however, point number 4. Rosa Parks, however, was not the first person to defy that rule. The other 2 women who had resisted movement from their seats lived questionable lives. Questionable characteristics associated with them, and they were not good candidates to stand in court. Maybe they had stolen before, maybe they were prostitutes, maybe they were one thing. The lawyers would have ripped them apart. So what do we learn from that? Your future starts now. Young man, live a disciplined life. Live a clean life. Be intentional in developing character, in developing capacity, in developing competence, in developing charisma, and in developing courage. I said 1 or 2 things when I was speaking at Asaba. Number 1, it is not today that Peter Obi went into politics. He was in ABGA, he was in PDP before he joined the Labour Party. In PDP, under Atiku, Obi could not shine. No man lights a lamp and hides it under a bushel. Remember where we started from. You are the salt of the earth. If salt is mixed with pepper and the pepper overwhelms the salt, when you taste that solution, you won't feel salt. It is pepper that will overwhelm. Number 2, if you mix it with too much sugar, you won't taste the salt. It will lose its saltiness. Number 3, if you over dilute it, If you want to live a life of significance, learn to separate yourself from some people. Dati Baba Ahmed, Peter Obi, if they had remained in the PDP, they would have remained insignificant because of the overwhelming influence of people much more influential and richer than them. I'm not condemning the PDP. I'm saying that they will not have come to the limelight. And so he joined the Labour Party. Now, he is not the first person that joined the Labour Party. Governor Olusegun Mimiko, another very good man, joined the Labour Party. I went with him from his bedroom to the Labour Party national headquarters in Abuja when he declared for presidency. I admired him because of his sincerity and because of his ABIA project, health project in Ondo State. Beautiful hospitals he built, beautiful health system he brought up, such that commissioners' wives were delivering with messengers in the same hospital instead of traveling out of the state. The place was as beautiful as it could be. So I admired him because I spoke with him at Sweet Spirit Hotel. He subsequently came to visit me in Ughelli here. I went with Barrister Okeya and Efe to visit him in Ondo State. Then I subsequently was with him in Abuja. But Olusegun Mimiko could not come to the limelight. He moved to Zenith Labour Party and he lost his senatorial bid. Why? When pawpaw ripe, it go fall. There is timing for everything. There is timing for everything. Obi came into the Labour Party when the timing was right. When Nigerians had reached a critical point of insecurity, of inflation, of unemployment, of dissatisfaction, of anger with elite capture, grandiosity, and flamboyance. We were tired. According to Charlie Boy, he said Obi provided an alternative between the choice of sniper and otapiapia. That's why he came into prominence. And that's why his life became, that singular movement made a significant input in his political career. Obi entering Labour Party made a significant impact in the Labour Party. Obi in Nigerian politics made a significant impact. For the first time, Nigerians are going into the streets with their own money, campaigning for a candidate, marching for a candidate, a movement we have never seen before. Are you not tired? Does somebody not get angry? Fela said suffering and smiling. And so Rosa Parks was angry. I still remember an incident that happened. She was going to somewhere with the younger brother, and a white boy was threatening the younger brother. And she picked a brick and showed it to the white boy, and the white boy ran. She could also see white children travel to school in buses while she went to school on foot. Can you not see the disparity between the rich and the poor? They chase you and you elect them into office. They chase you out of the road with sirens. And it's the children of the poor who are policemen, who are DSS, that will use wood to crack somebody's windscreen. Oh boy, sometimes my blood boils. You see, one day the black woman got angry and said, enough is enough. That was how Rosa Parks was thinking when she entered the bus, because she had made up her mind that she would never enter James Blake's bus. But her mind was so filled with the pain and decay in Montgomery at that time that she entered that bus without knowing it was James Blake. And that singular action she did saved her fellow black people. Now, I want to look at some key issues for you to live a significant life. Number one, she passionately hated the injustice and status quo. For you to live a significant life, you must passionately hate the status. People say, how do you manage to work with Dr. Apoki? Somebody called me. I applied to your school in Agbaro. I have not heard from you. I said, I don't have a school in Agbaro. I have a school in Okwokoko. It's Agbaro and Okwokoko. They're the same thing. How can you work for me? How can you work in my school when Agbaro and Okwokoko are the same thing to you? Agbaro is in Ughelli North. Okwokoko is in Okpe local government area. You cannot work for me. Why? You cannot work in my place. They say I'm too intolerant. I'm too harsh. No, I cannot continue with the status quo. I cannot continue with the stupidity. I cannot continue with helping people to do exams who cannot. We interviewed, how many people did we interview in Okwokoko to get teachers? Graduates. They couldn't solve simple mathematical problems. We couldn't get people. One of them came, he could not write an application. He could not write, and he came without a belt, and I drove him away from my office. You say I have hot temper. I'm angry. This nation cannot continue like this. We cannot raise doctors who don't know their right from their left. Doctors who want to give a prescription, you will write a whole page, write so many lab tests. No, if you know what you are doing, you go for the specifics. We cannot continue like this. So she passionately hated the injustice and hated the status quo. She thought beyond herself. She was not thinking of only herself. She was thinking of the injustice that was meted out to Emmett Till, and James Blake was the trigger to her response. I saw somebody hold a gun when the policeman seized his phone. I don't encourage you to do that. But sometimes Nigerians are being pushed to the wall. Pushed to the wall. And if care is not taken, she was pushed to the wall. Now, point number 3. 3 other black passengers initially protested on the same row, but moved because they had tolerated injustice to a point of celebrating it. Oh, Nigerians, we can tolerate. We can tolerate a lot of oppression, suffering and smiling. The same idiots and criminals that oppress us, they are the ones that sit in the front row of our churches. They are the ones we wait to before we start Thanksgiving service. They are the ones that read first lessons and last lessons. What is it? We are suffering from what is called Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is when you fall in love with your rapist. Rosa Parks, however, point number 4. Rosa Parks, however, was not the first person to defy that rule. The other 2 women who had resisted movement from their seats lived questionable lives, questionable characteristics associated with them, and they were not good candidates to stand in court. Maybe they had stolen before, maybe they were prostitutes, maybe they were one thing. The lawyers would have ripped them apart. So what do we learn from that? Your future starts now. Young man, live a disciplined life. Live a clean life. Be intentional in developing character, in developing capacity, in developing competence, in developing charisma, and in developing courage. I said 1 or 2 things when I was speaking at Asaba. Number 1, it is not today that Peter Obi went into politics. He was in ABGA, he was in PDP before he joined the Labour Party. In PDP, under Atiku, Obi could not shine. No man lights a lamp and hides it under a bushel. Remember where we started from. You are the salt of the earth. If salt is mixed with pepper and the pepper overwhelms the salt, when you taste that solution, you won't feel salt. It is pepper that will overwhelm. Number 2, if you mix it with too much sugar, you won't taste the salt. It will lose its saltiness. Number 3, if you over-dilute it, if you want to live a life of significance, learn to separate yourself from some people. Dati Baba Ahmed, Peter Obi, if they had remained in the PDP, they would have remained insignificant because of the overwhelming influence of people much more influential and richer than them. I'm not condemning the PDP. I'm saying that they will not have come to the limelight. And so he joined the Labour Party. Now, he is not the first person that joined the Labour Party. Governor Olusegun Mimiko, another very good man, joined the Labour Party. I went with him from his bedroom to the Labour Party national headquarters in Abuja when he declared for presidency. I admired him because of his sincerity and because of his ABIA project, health project in Ondo State. Beautiful hospitals he built, beautiful health system he brought up, such that commissioners' wives were delivering with messengers in the same hospital instead of traveling out of the state. The place was as beautiful as it could be. So I admired him because I spoke with him at Sweet Spirit Hotel. He subsequently came to visit me in Ughelli here. I went with Barrister Okeya and Efe to visit him in Ondo State. Then I subsequently was with him in Abuja. But Olusegun Mimiko could not come to the limelight. He moved to Zenith Labour Party and he lost his senatorial bid. Why? Emweje voke. When pawpaw ripe, it go fall. There is timing for everything. There is timing for everything. Obi came into the Labour Party when the timing was right. When Nigerians had reached a critical point of insecurity, of inflation, of unemployment, of dissatisfaction, of anger with elite capture, grandiosity, and flamboyance. We were tired. According to Charlie Boy, he said Obi provided an alternative between the choice of sniper and otapiapia. That's why he came into prominence. And that's why his life became, that singular movement made a significant input in his political career. Obi entering Labour Party made a significant impact in the Labour Party. Obi in Nigerian politics made a significant impact. For the first time, Nigerians are going into the streets with their own money, campaigning for a candidate, marching for a candidate, a movement we have never seen before. And a man who could be said to be frugal and prudent, with 2 shoes, 1 wristwatch, living in a 2-bedroom house, packages his food, lives a frugal life. For the first time, we now saw that frugality can be a virtue in this country. And for the first time, he made a significant impact in the life of Dr. Apoki. Those who were laughing at me that I was not spending money, I was living a miserly life, saw somebody who was far, far richer than I am, living a simple life, only one style of dress, living a simple life more than I am doing. For the first time, simplicity, frugality, openness, transparency, dedication to duty, and development became yardsticks for governance and politics in Nigeria. Let me ask a simple question. He said recently that if you can find 1% of Anambra State money in his account, that he is told that he will stop campaigning. So, somebody, your history is being recorded. Your history is being recorded. Somebody is monitoring you. If they had found any tangible evidence against him, they would have used it against him. One person, I will not mention his name, was on social media castigating him. And one of my boys in South Africa dug into his details, found out that he was a fake man, homeless human being, and published his record. And today, he has been humiliated. Listen and listen well. Young girls, I see some of you dressed anyhow. I see some of you in front of hotels. I see some of you with boys all over the place. Young boys, I see some of you living like mad people with bad character traits. One day, your records are going to stand against you. An opportunity is going to emerge, and you will not be able to stand your ground to make a significant change. Live intentionally. Live a clean life. For you to live a significant life, you must be mad. M-A-A-D-D. You must be mad enough to say never again. What is the meaning of mad? You must be motivated. You must be aggressive. You must be angry. You must be adventurous. You must dare. And you must be determined enough to say never again. Never again. Live beyond yourself. Don't allow your personal interest determine what is your priority. Every October 1st, when I wake up in the morning, I keep asking myself, why do I spend my money to organize this conference? Why? Why am I inviting Reverend Wyve to come and speak? I've been to Abuja several times. I've not been to his office. I told him you don't have any financial commitment. But I want him to talk about leadership and legacy so that any politician there will understand. Number 2, why did I invite Efe Kure, a young man dared to contest elections? I want to know what is motivating him. Why did I invite the young man that designed a prototype Keke Napep? I want to showcase him that even in Uroboland here, in the Anglican Church, we have people who can think differently. Why do I invite Reverend Samson Bojo? I've been with him since I came to this platform. And the platform today is the internet. Let me use Peter Obi as a case study again. This is a phenomenon that is happening. That's why I'm taking him as a case study. People said it was social media, structureless, structure, no structure. But look at the massive turnout in Nasarawa State, in Jos Plateau State, in Abia State, in Ugeli, in several communities over this weekend. Such a massive turnout of youths. Such a massive turnout of youth to vote. I wonder how they organize themselves, how they contribute money. The internet. If you don't use the internet today, you will not live a life of significance. I was telling somebody that my phone has more members than the biggest cathedral in Ugeli. My phone has more members that relate with me than the biggest cathedral in Ugeli. Imagine having 40,000 plus members through my phone. 40,000. What is the size of the Ugeli Stadium? 40,000 through phone, through internet. I meet people who will say you have been influencing my life, you have blessed my life from Ghana, from Namibia, from Caicos, from Guyana, from Trinidad and Tobago, from several parts of the world, from Ugeli here, from Otowodo, from Efronto. More people have known of Efronto through my videos and in the internet than any other event that has taken place in that town in recent time. I'm not boasting, it is the truth. I'm not being proud, it is the truth. You can also change your environment, change your business, attract development to your community, and create significant change through the internet. The internet is the game changer in today's generation. Let me quickly say 2 or 3 things and I'm done. Number 1, there is a difference between importance, relevance, and significance. And we can see that in the Ukraine-Russian war. And we can see that during the COVID-19. Church and religion, very, very important. What is importance? It is the value attached to a thing. The price tag we attach to a thing. When COVID-19 came, churches were closed, including in Jerusalem. Churches were closed. Why? As important as religion was, market was more important than church. So at that time, religion was not as important as feeding, not as important as hospital. As important as education was not important at that point. So that brings me to the definition of relevance. What is relevance? Relevance is the need for the now. Let me give you an example. COVID-19 vaccine became very relevant during the COVID-19 pandemic. But COVID-19 vaccine is not relevant to a madman because madman no dey get COVID because of cross immunity. Do we need this thing now? A pastor that is anointed, anointing is important. But if he has to do prostate surgery, the doctor who is going to do the surgery to remove the enlarged prostate so that he can urinate well is more relevant than his anointing at that point. So knowledge at that point is more relevant than anointing. You go to a meeting. Of what relevance is that meeting to your life? There are many activities I don't indulge in. They are not relevant to my life. So I don't waste my time on them. I don't waste my time with anything that will not make meaning to my situation. I don't go to church like the October 1st conference. We are not going to sing choruses to wait for you. No, not relevant. We came here for a seminar and the seminar must be what we address. When I go to preach in churches, they will sing and do so many irrelevant things. Then they will come and meet you, sir. Can you talk for 20 minutes? You see their stupidity. So the lecture is not important. And then you will see one busybody person who does not pay attention. He will come and say, 5 minutes more, sir, round up. And they were acting play, singing, and dancing. If you go to any tarry night, any all-night meeting, They will spend a great percentage of the time singing and dancing. Very little is spent on learning the word of God and prayer. So relevance. What you are doing now, is it relevant to you? You are running from one burial ceremony to the other. Does it contribute to your life? Is it relevant? Like as I am today, the burial of the queen, they are saying they won't invite some people. Of what relevance is going to the burial of the queen to the economy of a poor nation? Of what relevance? If a big man dies in Nigeria, I don't go for their burial. They won't notice me. Why don't I use my time to do something significant? Relevance. Boyfriend and girlfriend in school is not relevant. What you need is knowledge to pass. To pass well, get into university. That is what is relevant at that moment. To do guy, your dressing is not relevant. When you go to university, don't go and be doing mama and papa, campus mama and campus papa. You will fail. What is relevant for you there is to pass. Then significance, as I said, is making the difference, creating the difference. Is there an activity you will do that will create significance? One of the activities that made significance in my life is using the internet, as I said, and making broadcasts, using my Facebook page and my other platform. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. Live a life of significance. It's not the burial ceremony your children will do that matters. It is the name and the legacy you will leave behind that is significant.